welcome to the Weekly Nerd Podcast. As always, I am Sam Brush. To my right, maybe your left if you're watching live, is David Drucker. David, say hi.
What is up, everyone?
And we have Tony Kaz as well.
What's up?
If you are a loyal listener, you will realize that we don't have Maddie or Ian with us today, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, Ian had to watch his nephew.
They don't like us.
Well, that's reason number one.
Yeah.
Reason number two is that Ian had to watch his nephew, so he couldn't come down. And reason number three was Maddie said, and I quote, "I have nothing to contribute to this conversation." So
now I need to bring this
done.
up because it happened on the poll last week. What happened in the poll versus the Black Widow?
She ended up losing
Oh!
by I think 2 votes.
How dare!
I voted for her.
Yeah, I
more
voted
because
for
I
her,
was
too.
afraid that what would happen if I didn't vote for her.
True. She would've
Drucker
killed me.
didn't vote. I noticed. Your wife did.
I saw
your wife
it.
voted for her. So thank you, Serena.
Yeah.
I had.
And
Seen
thank you for
this
watching
poll.
as well.
Yeah.
Serena.
Yeah,
As I see, I
definitely.
look down right now and I see you're watching. Hello, Mary, as well. David doesn't have his phone out, so he can't actually see the comments.
No, it helps me focus with.
That's
this.
true.
And
You
I
got-
got
I'm the only one.
And I have you who could bring up the.
Oh, that's
comments.
true. I'm basically the only one that does anyway. So yeah, they're not here
I'm
this
actually
week.
streaming.
And next week, Tony and Drucker have to talk about if they're going to make a podcast next week or not, or if we're going to do it on a different day. Maddie and I and Ian won't be here. Maddie and I are helping out at a local county fair, the Hartford Fair. If you know about it, if you know the Hartford Fair, coming out Monday night or Tuesday
And
night
come and
from
harass
7 to
the
10,
Weekly Nerd.
and come and harass Maddie and I as I sit in the schoolhouse and make sure nobody destroys stuff.
we may actually do a live show.
I was talking about that,
From
the
the Hartford
possibility
Fair.
of coming up and doing that.
if David is in for it.
I might be able to swing it, but my work schedule changes next week, so
Yeah.
It's from 7 to 10. It's at night. It's not in the morning.
Yeah.
You think I'm going to get up at 7 in the morning? Actually, I do get up at 7 in the morning because I have 2 kittens that make sure that I'm up at 7
yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like,
They're
"Why
like
are
your
you
own
sleeping?
personal
Why
children."
are you sleeping? It's time to play right now. Of
course.
It's time to play. And I'm like, or it's time to
Sure.
sleep. And then they maliciously attack my feet until I wake up.
Hairy Devils.
It's great.
Yeah.
I talk to them like I'm the Joker. I was actually just talking to Percy, my one cat. I'm a bit weird in case
No,
you guys
I'm
wanted to know.
going to clear the air on this. Give them a little rendition of the Dark Knight Joker.
Oh, well, I was going to, but you can be like,
We're going to shut up for it, though.
oh, all right, you ready? Well, hello, beautiful. You must be Harvey's little squeeze. See, I had a wife just like you. And it could go on and keep going. And you could be
That
like,
was pretty
you
good,
could be,
though.
you could be
Yeah.
like, you could be
I don't like when he looks at me like that.
It makes me feel so uncomfortable in
I'm only burning
ways.
my half for the money. But so I was talking to Percy, my one cat, because he meowed at me, and I looked at him and I went, "Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Believe me, they'll cast you out." And he just kind of looked at me funny, and then I said, "Meow," and he went. So you guys couldn't see on the podcast what I was doing, but our live listeners could. So, but yeah, so we've
great.
got a lot of stuff to talk about today. David, why don't you pick your favorite of the 18 topics we were
Okay.
thinking about talking about today?
Oh my gosh,
we'll
come
start
on.
there.
Well, I guess we'll get started with the everything that's getting announced with, I don't know what to call it, the Venom-verse or Sony-verse, Spider-Verse. I don't know.
It's not really a Spider-Verse because there's no Spider-Man unless they're going with
Yeah.
Miles
I don't know
Morales,
what to call
but-
it. But if you've been following, of course, there was a trailer launched a couple weeks ago for the upcoming Venom movie
Yeah.
releasing in October. Looked okay. But there's been news
I
coming out.
think the Venom movie looks like it'll be pretty good.
Some of the news coming out is Sony is trying really hard to launch their own universe to copy the MCU.
Right, like everybody else.
Yes. And it's not confirmed yet, but there's a lot of articles I've been reading that Venom is going to get a PG-13 rating.
Which scares me a little bit.
And it surprised me a bit because I thought, oh, they're going to do a Venom and they're going to go rated R and they're going to... I think they're still planning to introduce Carnage.
Which you can't do Carnage, not R. Carnage is one of my favorite comic book villains because he's literally, he's basically the MCU's Joker in a lot of ways,
Yes.
in that he just literally causes carnage. That's his goal.
And the thought is that they want to keep it PG-13 because they have plans of eventually bringing Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man from the MCU, over into their
Spider-Verse,
Venomverse,
the Venomverse.
or whatever they want to call it. So they plan to hopefully bring Spider-Man back. They want to keep it PG-13 because it's Spider-Man.
Right.
And then there's talk that they want to do a Kraven the Hunter movie.
Which I think Kraven the Hunter could be a successful movie even without Spider-Man.
They are also talking. They're planning a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie.
Which again I think could be successful even without Spider-Man.
Silk movie.
Cannot be successful without Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Impossible.
They are. I feel like they're trying too hard. We don't even know if the Venom movie is going to be good. The trailer.
It looks pretty good. It
I
looks
like
like a solid movie.
I like the second trailer better than the first. I thought the
right.
CGI for Venom looked a lot better in the second trailer than the first one.
Right.
But the movie hasn't even come out yet, and we're finding out all these news of things they want to do.
Right.
And I feel like they're hitting the ground, falling on their face.
They're trying to hit the ground running, but it's more like, and they're just dead.
My thing is,
Face plant, death.
my
boom.
thing is, even with the Venom movie, even if it's good, I don't know if you could do a very good Venom without Spider-Man, at least to start.
Make a lot of Venom movies without
Because
Spider-Man.
Venom could stand on his own. But without Spider-Man launching the character, I don't think you can do Venom.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if Venom is their Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like Venom,
Yeah.
they kind of use Venom in that role of Spider-Man to link all of these different heroes together. Maybe have Kraven. Maybe the government brings in Kraven to hunt down Venom, and you have maybe because Kraven is obviously Kraven the Hunter and stuff like that. So maybe they're trying to use him as their. If you don't know who Silk is another web slinger.
I forget who she is.
I forget her name.
Is it not his cousin or something?
No, but when she comes in the comic books, she comes after the whole thing where Dr. Octopus switches his mind with Spider-Man, so then you have Spider-Man as Dr. Octopus as Spider-Man
Yes.
and
Who
stuff like
makes
that. And
the
then they
Ultimate
end up
Spider-Man.
switching back.
Yeah.
And that's when Silk comes around, and Silk is, I think she's technically from another planet. I don't remember. If you know, please comment and give us a little bit more information. I don't know everything, obviously.
Yeah, I don't remember
but one of the key things about her is that when her and Spider-Man are together, there's like this sexual desire that neither of them can deny between the two of them. Like it's like it like goes all
I'm
over
gonna
the
get a
place.
little backstory on Silk.
But her character is entirely based on Spider-Man, not on Venom. She's not a symbiote. You know what she is? I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe she's technically a clone that is then Spider-Man ends up breaking her out, which releases there's a being from another dimension that hunts Spider-Man. That hunts Spider-Man, Silk, the Iron Spider, all the different Spider people from the different multiverses.
And I forget who it is.
I forget. Right. It's been a long time. So it's tough to do Silk without Spider-Man. Black Cat, Silver Sable, you could do them.
And I'm not happy with if Spider-Man goes back to Sony. And Marvel shares the rights as it is. From what I have been hearing, after Spider-Man Far From Home, Sony plans to take Spider-Man back.
Which doesn't make sense with what Marvel has said, that they have more movies planned for Spider-Man.
I don't know how it works out. I don't know all the contract issues. Maybe Marvel has a deal in place with this current deal ending.
They've got to have something, because Marvel isn't stupid enough to announce they have multiple movies coming when they don't have the rights to make those movies. Unless... Go ahead, Tony. Please, tell us about Silk.
All right. It says as a teenager, Cindy Moon, which is the character's name, was bitten by the same spider that bit Peter Parker.
Okay.
Giving her powers similar to those of the Amazing Spider-Man, powers of adhesion, a unique cognitive awareness of danger, and the ability to weave spider webs from her fingertips. She now swings through the skies of New York as Silk.
Okay.
The only comic that I actually physically own is a comic with Silk in it. I just haven't read it in a long time. Because...
I don't think you could do it. And even if you had Spider-Man, I don't know if you can do a massive universe with just Spider-Man. And
I think you could if
and
you
I love
did it
Spider-Man.
right.
You can do clearly the standalone Spider-Man movie has worked, and it's made great money.
But could you make 20 Spider-Man movies of just Spider-Man and his characters and his villains?
I think you could. I don't think there are many characters that you could, but I think Spider-Man's rogue gallery is good enough. Huge. And his supporting cast good enough, because you don't really count Black Cat as his quote rogues gallery.
No,
but
she's another anti-hero.
Right. His supporting cast is big enough, and his rogues gallery is big enough to do that. Maybe the only other people you could do that with the X-Men. You could do it with Spider-Man. You could do it with Batman. because you do Batman spin-offs, like in Bloodhaven, you have Nightwing and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I don't know if there's really any other ones you could do that with. You could do it with Spider-Man, but you got to do it right.
Spider-Man, there's a lot of content you can do, but I think that one of the things that the MCU has done is they have so many different characters that build these 20 movies. It's not just every movie was Iron Man.
It would be different than what the MCU has set up so far.
Tell me the movies that weren't a direct hit with Iron Man not in it.
Winter
Soldier.
But I mean, there's huge hits that
Guardians of the Galaxy,
huge.
which Sam doesn't like, but was a huge hit.
Iron Man in.
Oh, right. The Incredible Hulk.
Thor,
I mean,
Ragnarok.
all of the Infinity Wars,
Right, but all
the
of those
Avengers
movies
you
also
know.
Black
had,
Panther.
but all
Yeah.
of those movies also had Captain America in them and stuff like that. I agree with what Drucker's saying.
And I'm not saying they were great movies, but I think with Marvel has some great movies, but we've in a previous podcast we ranked and we found out they have a lot of average to mediocre movies and a few great ones mixed in.
Right.
But I just feel like with just Spider-Man, it would get boring and dry really quick.
Yes.
Because let's say you try to release...
I think you've got to. I think you're right. If they all centered around Spider-Man,
Yes.
But I think if you keep Spider-Man as your central figure,
And you
make 2 or 3 movies, and then off of him you make Venom, and off of him you
Exactly.
make Black Cat, and so
yeah.
it's different than MCU because MCU, while you've got your big 5 or 6, there is no real central character
Yeah.
that every movie
And
flows out
and there
from.
would be different storylines you could do with Spider-Man. So you could do a Sinister Six that you could build up.
Right.
You could do Venom. You could do I don't know if you could do Carnage without crossing over the rated R
Well,
line.
you couldn't.
But you could.
Even
could,
Hunted with Craven.
I would love a
would be
Hunt-
great.
Would be
Craven.
great.
Yeah.
You could do
Craven's Last Hunt,
You
I
could
think,
do
is
a
the-
whole
Craven's Last
symbiote.
Hunt,
yeah.
You could do a symbiote storyline.
Right.
There's a lot of.
I
story
think that it
content.
could succeed if you keep Spider-Man at its head, introduce 3, 4
Yeah.
characters, and then you trickle down from
But
there with everything still pointing back to Spider-Man. But
Well, I don't want Spidey to leave the
Well,
MCU.
let's
well,
be
I don't
honest
either.
here.
I don't either.
I want these characters to come over to the MCU for Spider-Man movies.
I agree. I agree.
Now, let's be honest here. You have watched the Venom trailers,
Yeah.
the 2 trailers that were currently out, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. David, same thing.
Yeah.
Do you
Totally
think,
eats that guy.
Do you think that it will be as successful as other Marvel movies, or do you think
Well,
it'll
not even
just
close.
get by?
It's not even going to be close to as monetarily. I don't
yeah.
care how good this movie is. It will not be as close
Well,
monetarily
it's-
because it doesn't have the reputation
Here's the
of being
thing.
good.
It's still going to make a lot of money. It's Venom. Venom is a very popular character.
He's one of my favorites.
He-
I've
and
always
he's one of my
loved
favorites.
Venom.
He's one of my favorite Spider-Man villains.
Right.
I've always loved Venom. When I was a kid, I loved Spider-Man 3 because Venom was in it. Now I'm older, I know all the flaws in the movie, and it's really bad. But I always loved Venom. And years ago, when I heard they were making a Venom movie, I was really excited about it.
Right.
Um,
And I think Venom actually looks good. The first trailer, I was like, oh, he doesn't look good. The second trailer, I went, oh, all right, he actually kind of looks
the
pretty
CGI
good.
for him looks pretty good.
Right, the first trailer
He
had me
looks
worried.
massive.
Here is
Which he should.
Yes.
Here is my only downfall with this movie. There's been not a lot of controversy behind this movie, but if you do happen to if you're a fan of Facebook Todd McFarlane, who is the co-creator of Venom, he did CGI fixes for Venom to look more like Venom. And they came out fantastic.
Right.
There were really, really good changes that should have happened in the movie, but have not.
Well, he's not working on the movie, so they don't have to.
Well,
do what he
and that's
wants
a
to
little
do.
sad for me because it.
And if the movie is pretty much in post-production at this point,
Everything's done.
they're not
Yeah.
going to go back to multiple scenes in their movie. I'm
yeah.
guessing many scenes in their movie and touch up stuff that they've already
Yeah.
done, sent in the finished product with. I think.
I don't like the way he sounds. He sounds like a jarbled mess.
See, to me though, that is what Venom's. Every time I have heard
Venom should talk
that's
like
what he
that.
sounds like in my. I don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Tom, I don't think not Tom Holland. Just
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I don't
Hardy.
think he sounds bad when he's just talking.
I think he sounds weird. It's
don't.
that weird, because he is from Australia or Britain or something, right?
Probably most
so.
actors.
I'm
are.
pretty sure he is. He has that weird dialect when you cross over from like English or Australian to American English,
Right.
And you get a different dialect. You get a different Southern
I
drawl.
don't
or
think
you get,
Tom
like-
Hardy will be the problem with that movie. I think if there's a problem with that movie, it will be because of a lame writing or bad